Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is a brand new devlog series that I'm starting on my new game. I'm titling it just Project Clouds at the moment. I'm yet to come up with an official name for it as of yet. I'm looking for some suggestions for a name because I'm sort of struggling to put a title on it. But I'm going to go over the idea of the game today and show what I've got so far and what I'm sort of working on right now. So this game that I'm making is a mobile game. First off, I've always wanted to make a mobile game purely because I want to be able to show the work that I'm doing to my family members, etc. Because they haven't been able to access the games that I've made so far purely because they don't have access to a computer, and I want to be able to share that experience with my family. And I'm actually yet to make a decent game. Like I'm proud of what I've made so far. Like it's all part of my journey, but I really want to get that project going now that I really focus on and really try and polish. And that's what I'm aiming for with this game. I want to make it pop, and I want to make it satisfying to play. I don't want it too complicated. I don't want it over the top mechanics wise. I just want it to look simple, play simple, and really catch the user's eye and attention. So onto the gameplay side of things. The game is about a bubble that is trying to float as high as it can, and your objective as the player is to protect this bubble and stop it from popping. There'll be different things that you'll be interacting with, such as clouds that will disperse as you go through them, and there'll be enemies that are trying to pop the bubble, or things that are interacting with the bubble to change its movement, disorientating the player and stuff like that. I have a vision for the game, like aesthetics wise. I know exactly how I want it to look and all the different things I want to add in that sense, but I really want to sort of refine the mechanics with the audience and sort of get a lot of feedback that way, so I can make the game as entertaining as possible. So the main mechanic I've worked on so far is when a bubble goes through a cloud, it sort of disperses, and I've tried to make that look as satisfying and as cartoony as I can. That's the main thing I've been focusing on so far. I think I've done a decent job with it so far. It's obviously going to get tweaked, and I'm obviously going to make the clouds look a lot nicer. But this is the sort of thing that I'm going for. I want it to be like a series of satisfying pieces of I don't know how to really explain it, but things that are getting in the way, things around the game that look satisfying, fun to interact with. That's what I mean. I want to make the game satisfying to interact with. I've also been playing around with shaders for the first time. It's been really fun to play around with. I've been quite intimidated by shaders in the past because they look so complicated. But I've looked at YouTube, looked at some simple tutorials, and I've sort of got comfortable with it now. Not completely comfortable. There's so much detail and stuff you can go in with shaders. This is basic. I'm literally just making something look like a bubble. I'm yet to add the vertex shader side of things, where the bubble actually moves like a bubble, so it's wavy around the sides and stuff like that. At the moment I've literally just got the colors that go through the bubble in a twirly sort of aspect, so it looks pretty cool in my opinion. And the alpha is lower, so when it goes over stuff it's see-through and stuff like that, so it's looking pretty good right now. But obviously I'm going to add a lot more to this, and obviously take on some suggestions as well. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be working more with shaders throughout the whole process of making this game. I want to make a shader for the clouds and some of the enemies as well. I'm really going to focus on that and try and show as much of that as I can. So moving on to the artwork for the game, I'm going to be using Procreate on my iPad again. I've used this for all the games I've made so far, and I'm definitely going to be practicing a lot more on it. And I'm not going to be rushing this time. I'm not going to be making this game in 48 hours like all my other ones. So yeah, I'm definitely going to spend a lot of time with the artwork and the sprites for the game. I've also spent some time on decorating the background for the game and animating the clouds in the background very subtly. Not too much, but just enough to show that they're alive, sort of thing. Not alive, clouds aren't alive, but you know what I mean. Give them a little bit of movement and make the world feel alive. I'm going to have a series of different layouts of backgrounds, so you're not just looking at the same background as you get higher. I'm going to be having a couple, maybe 5 or 6 that sort of rotate between each other randomly as the player goes higher. This also gives me a lot of creative freedom as well. I can add maybe at some point a space style background, sort of gets that high that is in space, rockets are flying past and stuff like that. So there's lots of different things I can do with that sort of way of doing things. I know it might be quite performance heavy actually, because I'm going to probably be randomly generating the levels as well, so the background's going to be randomly generated and the levels and stuff like that, so it might get a little bit performance heavy, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And I know I'm probably skipping quite far ahead here, but I've been working on some post-processing effects. It was quite easy to implement with the new universal render pipeline. They're just all sort of there ready for you to sort of mess about with. And I just messed around with the aesthetic a little bit to see if it all sort of works together, and I can sort of create what I'm thinking of like in my head. I like getting the artwork done quite soon because I like to feel, it makes me a bit more motivated to get the game done, make me want to come back and work on it. Because I don't like looking at cubes all the time, you know, it can get a little bit boring, so it's always nice to play around with post-processing effects like early on. So yeah, this is sort of where I'm at right now, with a bit of post-processing, animated background, clouds to interact with. I tweaked the movement of the bubble a little bit as well to make it feel more realistic, sort of react how a bubble would. I've tried my best to sort of reenact that, but I'm also going to be looking into making the animations on that better to make it feel more like a bubble. There's lots of things to add and lots of things to look forward to with this game. I've really been taking the time to look into mobile game development. I've been researching a lot of techniques to help keep the user engaged. I've been looking into what sort of movements are very popular on the phone and sort of movements that are very easy to do on the go. So I know like swiping on Instagram or TikTok is a very popular motion, and this game will have the same motion as like the really addictive social medias. I also don't want ads to randomly pop up in my game. I know that's very annoying when playing a mobile game. I've experienced it firsthand and it's a very bad experience for the player. I want to implement something like watch this ad to carry on this current life or something like that. I think that's a much better way to implement ads into your game, and also keep the user playing as long as possible. Obviously this is the first devlog and I want to try and get as much comments as I can on this video to try and help me come up with a name for the game, any ideas you have for the game. I really want to make this a community game. Like I want to get people behind it, and I want to try and get as much input as I can from other people, because I want to make it like as fun and as satisfying for people to play as possible. And the best way to do that is obviously to get people's opinions on it, you know. So it might feel satisfying to me, but it might not feel satisfying to the majority of people. So I want to really get people involved with this. I do have a Discord as well, which will be linked in the description. So yeah, I'm going to be quite active with this game going forward now, trying to get a devlog out every 2 weeks. So yeah, so going forward with this game, I'm going to be going through the list of things that I've made on my Microsoft to-do list. Each devlog, I'm going to pick a few things off this list, and that's what we're going to work on for that video. I feel like this is the best structure to try and get as much done and get as much content in each devlog as I can. There are loads and loads of things that I want to add, and I can't wait to get going with this game, and I can't wait to see your reaction to it as well, and get as much feedback on the game as I possibly can. I want everyone to be as brutal as they possibly can. Like, if you don't like it, tell me what you don't like about it, or if you like it, tell me what you like about it. I want it to just be completely open, and yeah, I just want to try and make this game the best I can. So yeah, there isn't much content in this devlog gameplay wise. It's very, very early on. I've sort of just messed around with the artwork and got a very basic mechanic in. It's nothing special yet, but yeah, can't wait to post more devlogs and really start making progress on this game. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like, and if you want to stick around for the next devlogs, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.